Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This One's Wife. Spare in the Marriage. Video analysis. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry complained about being the spare in relation to the throne of England. However, that pales into insignificance compared to the fact that he has been made the spare in his own marriage. He holds the position of intimate partner primary source, which actually is a very important position within the fuel matrix, but it still means that he trails a distant second to the needs of his wife. He is there to be controlled and to provide fuel character traits and residual benefits. Those are his sole purposes. He's not there for anything other than those things. He doesn't know that, his wife doesn't know that, but that's the way that the narcissistic dynamic functions. This translates into this one's wife repeatedly ensuring that she is the one that is at the forefront. We have seen on many occasions the way that this one's wife puts herself in front of Harry, that she walks in front of him, that she interrupts his handshakes, that she interrupts when he's hugging somebody, that she positions herself in front of him in a photo call, that she makes it so that he can't join the line when a photograph is being taken, that she interrupts him, that she pushes her way in, relegating him to position of a bystander. More recently, as I've pointed out, the collective impact of this form of devaluation has really started to irritate Harry, and his annoyance has been prevalent on a number of occasions. Some might think that this one's wife would notice that Harry is getting cheesed off by these behaviours and do something about it. The only way that she would recognise it would be through her distortion field of her narcissism to recognise that these are threats to control. She wouldn't recognise it in terms of, oh, Harry's upset about something. Well, I'm concerned about him. Therefore, I need to make sure everything's all right. No, her narcissism will see when he does pull his face or perhaps speak out, simply seeing it as a threat to control. Most of the time, she's likely to belittle him by telling him he's overreacting, that he's being too sensitive, that he's being silly. We're in this together, Harry, you and I. We're stronger together, remember? Oh, don't be silly, Harry. You're just getting envious now that people like me. Don't you want people to like me? Of course, as ever with the narcissist, it will be belittled, it'll be minimised, and then it'll be thrown back in his face to suggest that he is the one with the problem. Yet this behaviour of relegating Harry has gathered pace, and we see another example of it now with a short piece of video footage. Here it is. A relatively distant piece of footage that was taken when this one's wife and Harry turned up an hour late to an event where hardly anybody else turned up to see them. Leaving those points to one side, you'll notice immediately that this one's wife is walking slightly ahead of Harry because, after all, she is more important than him. She is the individual that shakes the hand of the relevant dignitary or organiser that meets them, and then Harry goes next. She then walks even further ahead of him, forging the way. You would be forgiven for thinking that she was the one born into royalty and he was the one that had married in, given the way that she conducts herself as maintaining that she's more important than he is. Nevertheless, She then shakes hands with the next person and then does the usual thing of turning to Harry to instruct him to shake hands. This is a man that has learned and understood the way to meet people. He's been doing this for decades. He's been doing it ever since he was running around in short trousers. It's second nature to him. This is something that he was brought up on. And yet this one's wife, in her usual patronising manner, treats him as if he doesn't know what to do. Repeatedly we see where she will turn to him, gesticulating for him to do something. She won't even recognise that she's doing it, because it is an instinctive response of her narcissism seeking to do two things. First of all, to control Harry by directing him to do as she dictates, and also to make it look like to third parties that she cares about him, because she's always touching him and directing him. Those of you who now understand that she's a narcissist realise this is nothing to do with caring about Harry and everything to do with ordering him around for the purposes of maintaining control over him. It makes him look a complete simp, a man who is shortly about to turn 40, treated like he's a child. But in essence, that is how this one's wife sees him, as someone that has to be told what to do, because she regards him essentially as rather useless. Once again, the arm comes out, and you'll see how he responds to it. His own instinctive, submissive response is to put his arm out towards her also. Such is the level of conditioning that he has experienced as a consequence of the way that he is treated by his wife. It's a sorry state of affairs for someone who used to be fairly plucky and spunky. Now he's just relegated to the spare in his marriage. A bit part player who is there simply to be told where to stand, where to go, even what to say by his domineering wife. In some relationships, one partner is more dominant than the other. That's nothing to do with narcissism, that's just the way that the relationship pans out. Here, her domineering nature towards him, albeit dressed up as caring for the purposes of facade management, is all about controlling Harry. And what makes it worse is the fact that he has essentially accepted it. Yes, once in a while he bares his teeth and complains about it, shows irritation, but he still goes along with this whole prodding and manoeuvring and gesticulating and telling him where to go. He is the prince. She is the one that married in. And rather than point this out to her, and at least either behave as equals, the fact is that she conducts herself as if she's the important one, which, as you all know, in her head, she believes that she is. And this translates into these instinctive responses that she exhibits. She simply cannot help behaving this way, because at the heart of her is her narcissism, which causes her to behave this way without even thinking about it. She doesn't think to herself, oh, I'll boss him around, and I don't care how that looks. She does it automatically because that's what her narcissism dictates. And the upshot of all of this is that Harry ends up being the spare in the marriage. I'm H.T. Tudor. Thank you for watching.